Hey folks, I wanted to make a video talking about adding a second TCA throttle quadrant to your TCA throttle assembly. I have started with the first throttle quadrant and the add-ons, the landing gear lever and the spoiler lever, and also the flaps lever and the parking brake. And then I added a second throttle quadrant, and I'll go through the configuration and setup in just a little bit. But what I want to do first is show a video that I made using my cell phone so you can see what it looks like all combined. So let me play that video.
I knew this could be done, but I hadn't seen it done anywhere, so I wanted to get a video of it. I have just installed a second TCA throttle quadrant to an add-on package. Now it's on the fly clamp, and unfortunately the lineup holes to clamp it didn't quite, one of them seemed to have been stripped out. So when you have just one throttle quadrant with the add-on, the flying clamp is a little too large. In this case, the flying clamp is a little too small. So in the short term, it will work, but I want to get maybe a painter's stir stick to stick underneath this left-hand portion to secure it up a little bit. You can see how it wobbles just a little bit. Now here's my hand size, and let's say I have a 4-engine airplane, throttling up on a 4-engine airplane doesn't seem to be a problem, but engaging all 4 reversers at the same time would be very challenging for one pilot. Maybe if you had a second officer helping out, you could do that. But that's going to be a challenge to control a 4-engine plane reversers, getting all 4 reversers activated at the same time. But that's what it looks like. And I'll add to this video and show you how the configuration in Microsoft Flight Simulator looks. It's basically what you're doing is you're setting up one set of controls for the first 2 throttles, 1 and 2, and then another set of controls for throttles 3 and 4. But I'll go into that later. I just wanted to get an exterior view of the, now here's the Airbus 2 throttle quadrants plus the add-ons. It's on a flying clamp, and just above that is the Bravo throttle, which is on the desktop itself. So that's how my setup is, and I can basically for Airbus airplanes I use the throttle quadrant down here because I like the detents in the throttles, and then for Boeing airplanes and general aviation I use the Bravo throttle. Anyway, there you go. Talk to you later. Bye.
Damn, that guy is good looking. Anyway, so we're here in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm going to go to the options page and under controls. So here's the Bravo throttle quadrant, and one of the profiles I made for this is called Bravo throttle quadrant Airbus no throttles on the Bravo. And what that does, it takes away all the throttle assignments on the Bravo, so I can still use the autopilot functions and the trim wheel, which I really like. The trim wheel, that is probably the best feature of the Bravo throttle, is having that trim wheel so available like that. So that's the Bravo throttle. And then we have the TCA. Now there's a little toggle switch on the front of each throttle assembly where you'd select engines 1 and 2 or engines 3 and 4. And make sure you select those correctly so you have 2 different profiles, 2 different controllers. Basically, the 1 and 2 controller is the 1 and 2 engine, the starter switches, the what do you call it? I don't know, this dial that selects the starting function, and right where the numerals 7 and 8 are here on this picture, you can see there's the little toggle switch that goes between engine 1 and 2 and engine 3 and 4. So toggle this. In this case, it would be switched over to engine 1 and 2. And then buy SATA cable. There's a small SATA cable that connects 1 and 2 throttle to the spoiler axis and the landing gear and the brake, the auto brake dial. So that one half of the add-on package gets attached by SATA cable to the 1 and 2 throttle quadrant. And because I had already had this one, when I go into sensitivity, my configuration is correct. And by the way, you do want to upload the latest firmware from Thrustmaster. It's a fairly straightforward process, but that firmware will make it so that your throttles line up just like that. And if your sensitivity looks more like these two images on the right, and that's how it comes by default, what I would recommend doing is go ahead and pause this video, copy down these numbers: 88%, negative 62%, 4%, 45%, 0%, and 100%. Copy down those numbers from me, and then once you move those sliders into these positions, then the sensitivity graph will look exactly like this one, and that's what you want, at least to start with. You can tweak it to your own devices later, but this is the initial profile to get your device working the way it should, with the reversers working. And because I had used this one before, this is how this was already set up for me. But when I added the second TCA throttle quadrant, then now we're in TCA 3 and 4. This is a different USB connection, so you'll need two USB ports in your computer. This is hooked up by SATA cable to the flaps axis, the parking brake, and the I don't know what that other dial is. There's another dial up there. And why is it not interesting? It's not coming up. Okay, so basically, interesting that the only control I have on number 3 and 4 is the sensitivity on the engines. Now again, these were straight lines when I first got them. I copied down these numbers, moved the sliders, and now my 3 and 4 throttles are just like my 1 and 2 throttles. I'm a little concerned because I don't see the, when I leave the sensitivity, I don't see any selections for assigned for instance, parking brake. I need to go in and assign that. If I'm going to use the TCA throttle for the parking brake, I'm guessing right now because it's so far away on such a big throttle quadrant, I may assign the parking brake somewhere else. But that's basically it. You'll have one USB cable on your computer going to the throttle 1 and 2 assembly, another USB cable going to the throttle 3 and 4 assembly, and then each one of those assemblies has a small SATA cable which connects it to an add-on on each side. Hope you got something from that, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day.